Ideally, you are all in touch with your deep desire to be of service, and you are investing in this workshop because you want to do that in the most aligned and joyful and effective way possible. I also realize that oftentimes we are stopped in our desire to be of service because we don't feel like we have what we need. There's that saying that you have to take care of yourself before you can take care of others. That saying is built on false information, though. Taking care of yourself is not separate from taking care of others or taking care of the planet. Because we are all part of the system, taking care of one is taking care of the other. But during this workshop, we are going to be focusing and dissolving that belief of separateness. Every experience, every part of this workshop, every segment is designed to have you experience your connection in a real way. Experience your connection to everything in a real way. Now, this will, of course, help you to be of service and guide you in living more fully in your purpose. But in this video, I want to talk to you about some of the ways that disconnection impacts our personal lives and leaves us feeling like we don't have what we need. Now, there is an obvious lack of fulfillment and a spiritual, emotional suffering that comes from believing that we are separate when we're not. But it also impacts a lot of our daily material maintenance. For example, in our finances. If we are conscious of our connection and have learned to be peaceful in the face of the dysfunction around money, it becomes easy to find a healthy relationship to money. You can feel the rightness in being provided for and feel a clear conscience around asking for and receiving monetary goods. Without this consciousness, we can have an undercurrent of conflict around money because we feel the dysfunction, we feel what's not working, and so we want to protect ourselves from it. We feel that there's a collective wound around people not having enough. And without bringing this into light and actually looking at it and feeling it in a conscious way, we unconsciously prevent ourselves from having functional financial lives. Now, either you can be aware of this conscious connection and bring the dysfunction around our economic situation to light and consciously choose to be guided in a healthy relationship to money, or you are just reacting unconsciously to the dysfunctional system. I'm just going to say that again. Either you are reacting to this dysfunctional system, because we can all agree that what's going on in the economics of the world is pretty dysfunctional. So either you're reacting to that and saying, oh, money's bad, I don't want anything to do with it, and then creating more dysfunction in your own financial life, in your personal financial life. Or you can feel what that actually feels like, get in touch with whatever suffering is there, get in touch with the implications that you feel that. It means that you're connected. It means you're connected into a larger system. And then choose a healthy way, a responsible way of relating to money that feels actually aligned in your own personal life and also in your relationship to the rest of the world. Now, food is another great example where our lack of conscious connection can cause confusion. So many of us have this struggle with what to eat for our health, what to eat for the planet, what to eat with social justice in mind. We have cravings, we have allergies, and guilt, all pulling us in different directions. And when you settle into the truth that what is good for you is good for the planet and good for everyone else, and what is good for the planet and everyone else is good for you, it becomes much simpler. But this isn't just about getting informed. I know most of you are really informed about your eating choices. This is about a spiritual consciousness that allows you to feel what is right for you to eat. This consciousness comes from practicing living like you are connected, because you are. And from this place, just like a cell in a body, you get guided in what is your right action. And this isn't just about food, this is about really everything you do. You learn to have an appetite that is in line with what is good for all. You actually feel drawn to what is the best next meal, the best next action. Now, our romantic and sexual relationships are another great area of our life where our lack of connection consciousness is highlighted. Oftentimes, our romantic sexual relationships are the only place that we feel profound connection. So we spiritually know that we are connected, but we experience such isolation in our lives. Then comes this person who we feel so close to. We experience this connection that on some level we always are needing and we're always expecting, and we're also always resisting. And it's as if this magic person has the key to bliss, the bliss that we know is ours. In reality, that bliss is always being offered. And this dynamic of this magic special person having in this dynamic, this magic special person has the impossible task of fulfilling your need for food, for community, for sex, family, nature, your friendships, your shelter, your purpose, God. You were meant to be fed by every interaction with everything, and instead this one person has all of that in their job description. So it's no wonder that oftentimes our romantic relationships look a lot more like drug habits than they do real connections. We have such a need for it, and we're so hungry for that connection that when we get it, we think that that other person is the source, which puts unbelievable pressure on the other person to always be on, always be perfect, always be ready to connect, and unbelievable pressure on ourselves to always be ready to connect to that person every time that person is there, which is just unrealistic and impossible and can cause a lot of pain and strife and ultimately burn it down. And lastly, I want to mention that your overall mental health and emotional health, mental health, is deeply impacted by this lack of connection consciousness. Just like a plant needs good soil and water to be healthy, you need to be fed by the world around you. You cannot ever actually disconnect, but you can block the energy of these connections by being in resistance. Now, by blocking this energy of our connections, we prevent the vital life force from entering our bodies, which can result in mental and physical imbalances. Now, this may look like just not feeling great, or it can actually cause mental and physical diseases, or prevent injuries or emotional upsets from healing. We all have extensive training in blocking our surroundings. We have extensive training in keeping that energy from coming into our systems. We learn to do this from every traumatic event in our childhood, in our lives. We learn this by modeling the other people in our world. And we learn this to protect ourselves from the collective imbalance. So when we feel, particularly in our childhood, when we become aware that the world has these kind of pain points in them, we learn to put up a barrier while we're developing to keep that imbalance from affecting us very deeply. But now you're grown up, and we can look at those pain points, those global pain points, and we can find our own stability and our own centeredness in relationship to those. So these walls that we've built up, they're no longer necessary. We're no longer developing in that way. We're grown-ups, so we can consciously choose to reconnect and know that we can be responsible for our own safety as we do that. So that is the focus of this workshop, is developing that connection consciousness. We're going to be living in that connection consciousness for 3 days and addressing some of the main things that have us shut the rest of the world out and healing that, as well as practicing looking at taking action from a conscious connection rather than taking action from a reaction to something that is uncomfortable for us, or a reaction to something that gives us pleasure. We are learning to let ourselves be inspired from our connected place. So this workshop is coming up quick, and it is time to register. If you register by tomorrow, you actually get lunch and dinner at Casa de Luz as well, which is wonderful. I can't wait to do this work with you, and if you have any questions about the workshop or about anything that I mentioned in this video, please don't hesitate to private message me or ask on the event page. I love you all. Have a great day.